As we previously talked about, taking photographs at a crime scene is crucial, but there's a specific way they must be taken. So first is the number of shots. You should have at least 4 photos, but I can tell you most forensic scientists end up with hundreds of photos from their crime scene. The 4 photos, though, need to be an overall view. This is a photo of the overall view of the crime scene, so sort of getting the entire crime scene in one photo. Medium view is pictures of where the piece of evidence is in reference to other items. So this might not be the whole crime scene, but you can see multiple pieces of evidence or multiple things all in one picture together. Then the close-up view, you need to take 2 of them, and this is a picture of the object only. And as far as the 2 are concerned, one is with a ruler, one is without a ruler. So this is only one piece of evidence. For my more visual people out there, let's look at some examples. So here are some overall examples. Our crime occurred at this house. So we have a picture of the whole house. We have the street that the house is on. We have the overall view. Then we put our evidence numbers in, and the medium view is showing that we can see pieces of evidence 1, 2, and 3 are very close to each other. Similar 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are all appearing in that front yard together. In close-up examples, you can see we have our evidence number, we have our ruler, and we have just the piece of evidence. You can't see anything else. Now, ideally, we take the same picture with and without the ruler in it just to prove that the ruler wasn't covering anything up. Now, in the close-up pictures, the angle is important. It is not important in the overall or the medium view, but in the close-up pictures, the picture must be taken from a 90-degree angle in order to be admitted into court of law. Now, you might not think that's a big deal, but it is. They actually make specific camera equipment that allows you to guarantee your camera was at 90 degrees. Now, you may be wondering how they're going to know, though. Let's go back to our previous slide. You can see that these rulers contain these circles right here. At 90 degrees, those circles will be perfectly circular. If we move away from 90 degrees, these circles will start to look more like ovals. There are defense attorneys out there who will purposefully measure those circles to make sure they are perfectly circular, and if they're not, get that photo thrown out. Without that photo, you cannot present that piece of evidence in court. Now, are they only going to take 1 picture? No, typically a forensic scientist is going to take 80 pictures of that one piece of evidence. But the hope is that, therefore, if one of them got slightly off from 90 degrees, they have some backups. So 90 degrees for our close-up pieces of evidence. If it's on the ground, that means you're directly over top. If it's on a wall, for example, that means you're staring directly at it. Now, I've mentioned ruler and evidence number a few times, so an L-shaped ruler must be visible in close-up pictures. And most forensic scientists recommend taking the exact same picture with and without the ruler, once again to show that it didn't cover anything up. An evidence number must also be visible in the medium and the close-up. This number should correspond to the number seen in the medium view picture. So if in the medium we see evidence number 1, in the close-up, that number 1 should be that same piece of evidence. Now, some evidence numbers have rulers on them and others do not. The ones we use in class do not. So you are going to be responsible for having a separate ruler and evidence number. Now, all of this forensic photography is occurring out in the field, but some forensic photography occurs back in the lab. While photos taken at a crime scene to properly document evidence, many photos are taken back at a lab. Evidence such as developed fingerprints or hair or fibers underneath a microscope also need to be photographed to present in court. So once we have those fingerprints developed from that piece of paper, for example, we want to take pictures of those fingerprints so we can show they were there. That hair that we found at the crime scene, we may have photographed it, but then we're going to photograph it underneath the microscope so we can present a detailed view of what that hair looked like in court. This may involve using alternative lighting sources and other photography methods to get a clear picture. So we are not always just taking them like how we take our photos of ourselves. Sometimes we're using different color lights or light at a different angle to get that best picture possible. So photography is a crucial part of the forensic science process, a process you're going to get some practice with over this school year together.